I know I've been gone, you feel me? So tomorrow, did I do a video yesterday or the day before? No, I don't think so. No, I did a video on my second channel, bro. Yeah, make sure y'all go check that out. We got Mr. Ballen Sunday. I mean Saturday. Tomorrow or Monday on my day off, you know what I'm saying? I might post Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You know what I'm saying? Just go ahead and get this video started, man. That's right, man. Had a little brain fart. For a minute, I ain't gonna.
Just before midnight on August 20th, 2012, a 19-year-old college student named Rose Marr and her best friend, 19-year-old Elizabeth Nass, walked down Main Street in their hometown of Ellicott City, Maryland. It was their last night together before they each would head back to college in separate states. So to cap off what had felt like a perfect summer, they decided to grab a few beers, despite being underage, and head on over to their favorite hangout
Don't
spot,
mean that. I used to
the
be.
train trestle that ran over Main Street. A
That's
train
all.
trestle is literally a bridge, but for trains. Now, to be clear, this train trestle was not like some secret daredevil hideout spot. Lots of people knew about it. Lots of kids in town, including Rose and Elizabeth, had been up here many, many times. And while there was an active train track that ran across it, the ledge on the trestle where everybody would sit when they were up there was several feet away from the tracks, kind of safely out of the way. You could be up there looking down over the town, and a train could literally pass right by you and not affect you. So overall, it was safe. So Elizabeth and Rose climbed up onto the train trestle and took their seats along the ledge, safely away from the tracks. Then they cracked open a few beers and began talking about their upcoming semesters. They talked about which classes they were going to take and what they were looking forward to and really how much they were going to miss each other. And then at some point, Rose pulled out her phone and she took a photo of her and Elizabeth's feet dangling off the trestle. Basically, the photo captured their feet kind of hovering over Main Street. Then she posted that photo to Twitter. And then as soon as she hit post, she and Elizabeth heard this loud screeching sound coming from right behind them.
Train.
They turned around to see what it was. Something huge smashed into them. Then it went black. That loud screeching sound was the sound of a train passing by right behind them. Remember, the tracks are set far enough back that, the train, it couldn't hit them. And in this case, the train was not the thing that hit these two girls. Instead, it was something truly unfortunate that happened to them. When that train passed by the girls, it partially derailed. Not a full scale, like cars going everywhere off the tracks, but instead, several of these cars basically toppled over to their sides. And some of those cars that toppled over were carrying thousands of pounds of coal.
Oh,
And these
that's
are open cars.
up.
You can literally see the coal as the train goes by. And so as the train's going by, those cars topple, all this coal comes out, and the coal smashed into Rose and Elizabeth and fully buried them. It was like they were under an avalanche, but not of snow, of coal. And so by the time the girls were pulled out of the coal, they were already dead. Rose and Elizabeth were the only two fatalities from this derailment. Their families would later sue the railroad company, alleging negligence, and each family would receive a settlement, though the exact amounts were never disclosed.
As it shouldn't be. I mean,
thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring.
It's just a story as, don't go places, but, if they been going at this whole time, that the real shit, all that shit really on them, for real, because anybody can go wherever they want to go. If nobody ain't stopping them from going to that park, then they can go there a minute time, not park, but that railroad track, you can go there as much as you want to, you feel me? It's on them, not to fuck up anything, you feel me? Cause it could be people on the track or people, you know what I'm saying? Damn, that's fucked up. Had coal on them and shit, bro. What the hell? And make sure y'all go check out that Better Help.
At 6 p.m.
No free promo right here.
2014, a 17-year-old boy named Jesus Meneses was playing basketball with a group of friends on an outdoor basketball court at Kinloch Park in Miami, Florida. The friends had broken up into two teams and were in the middle of a very intense pickup game. And the game was pretty close. Jesus' team was doing pretty well, but at some point, when Jesus and his team had possession, one of his teammates just got frazzled by the defense and just took this crazy three-point shot from way behind the line, and the ball just sailed right past the hoop, completely missed it, air ball, and it bounced and then went clean over this chain link fence on the edge of the park. And as soon as this happened, Jesus and all of his friends let out a collective groan. because they knew basically anything that went over that fence was pretty much gone forever. But to Jesus' surprise, one of his friends turned to Jesus and was like, hey, why don't you just hop the fence and go get the ball? Now, Jesus really did not want to do that. He had been coming to this park since he was like 1
Why
year
you
old
can't
with
do
his
it, my bro?
family, and his mom and dad had always told him to never, ever climb that fence. Never. But now, Jesus' friend who had asked him,
Who y'all gonna listen to? Y'all mama, your parents, or your fucking friend? He don't want to go himself, but he want to send you to go get the motherfucking ball across the fence. What y'all gonna do? Y'all let me know. This way, I gotta teach y'all kids this shit, boy or girl. You gotta teach them this shit. Thank God, my mama and my grandmama them they taught me everything. You know what I'm saying? And my mama still teaching me shit. Shit, I'm in mid-20s. And she still teaching
to do this, and kind of like turned it into a dare. He said, no, really, come on, Jesus, like, go hop the fence and get the ball. And the other friends had kind of picked up on this, and they were kind of egging it on, being like, yeah, Jesus, go over there, get the ball. And so Jesus knew, like, this is not a good idea. I cannot go over that fence. But here I am, surrounded by all my peers, basically egging me on to do it, and he didn't want to look weak or scared, and so he's thinking to himself, hey, what's the worst that could happen? He's like, all right, I'll look at it. And so Jesus left the basketball court and walked over to this fence. It was about 7 feet tall, and there was all this barbed wire across the top of it. And so as he's standing there looking at the fence, he turns back around, and his friends are all smiling, like, yeah, go get it. And so he's like, okay. And he begins climbing the fence. He gets to the top, and he reaches the barbed wire, and he very carefully positions himself so he doesn't cut himself on the way over. And right after he's cleared the barbed wire, he kind of tumbles to the other side of the fence.
Is this nigga, hey, bro, if the ball go over there to the jail, I know this ain't no jailhouse. If the bird go to the jail, if the ball go to over the fence or the jailhouse, bro, just leave it. I mean, that should be common sense anyway. You know, if he old enough to play basketball, he old enough to understand shit you can do and shit you can't do. But going to get a fucking ball in the prison court, jail court is just crazy to me. Prison or jail, one of them. It's one of them.
He's kind of shaken up from hitting the ground pretty hard. But, he stands up, dusts himself off. He realizes he's okay. He turns and looks through the fence now at his friends, and they're all cheering him on. And so now Jesus is feeling really confident, and he kind of smiles at his friends like he's the hero now. He turns, and sure enough, there's the basketball just a few feet away. So he walks over, picks up the basketball, and chucks it over the fence back to his friends. And Jesus was about to climb over the fence and go rejoin his friends when he happened to look back in the direction of where his basketball had been, and he noticed there was another basketball that somebody else had lost over this fence. Except this basketball was on the other side of a second fence. Basically, once you climb this first fence, a couple of feet later, there is a second fence. These were the two fences that Jesus and everybody who ever came to this park were warned about. Never climb them. But Jesus has already climbed the first one, and he's got his basketball.
Jesus, you a dumb motherfucker.
I can climb the second one too, and I can get that basketball, and then we'll have two. So if we ever lose another one, we have a backup. So without even telling his friends, Jesus walks over to the second fence, which is basically ice.
Make sure y'all give me a thumbs up. Make sure y'all give me y'all opinion about this video. Don't just leave an emoji. I mean, y'all can leave an emoji too, but also, leave the emoji, and then, comment y'all opinion about this video. Because I ain't gonna cap. I already know this is jail. I already know this is jailhouse. I've been to too many. You know what I'm saying? Had family members locked up and shit. I don't know what this is already. That's crazy, boy.
Identical to the first fence.
Mental institution.
Tall, a bunch of barbed wire at the top. He carefully climbs to the top, and he kind of positions himself over the barbed wire, and then he drops down to the other side. Except this time, when he hits the ground after clearing that second fence, something horrible happens. Within seconds of Jesus landing inside of that second fenced-in area, his friends back on the court saw what was going on and began totally panicking. They're screaming, they're running around, they don't know what to do. Eventually, one of them would call 911, and then minutes later, first responders show up and they find Jesus' friends. They're totally frantic. They're all pointing toward the fenced-in areas. And the first responders, they look and they know right away there's virtually nothing they can do to save Jesus. The reason these fences were totally off limits, the reason Jesus' family specifically warned him from when he was a young kid to never ever climb them, was because inside of the second fenced in area was an electrical power grid. And there were signs all over these two fences warning people to stay back, that it was dangerous, no trespassing, fatalities will occur if you go in here.
They got me. I thought it was a jail. I was gonna say because it is three. Sometimes when you go to certain jails, it is three fences. You feel me? It is. It's either 2 or 3 fences that you got to go through. You feel me? But hey, that's even worse, my guy. Hey, I'm in a whole different town right now, but it's one down the road from me. I ain't gonna lie. That's pretty crazy, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. God damn.
Jesus ignored the warnings.
There ain't nothing nobody can do.
And he climbed the second fence.
Shit.
Except when he landed inside of that second fenced-in area, he landed on a live electrical wire. And the second he did, 500,000 volts of electricity coursed through his body. For reference, the average lightning bolt contains about 300,000 volts of electricity. So as soon as Jesus hit that wire, it was like the equivalent of 2 lightning bolts striking him at once, but not just one time, over and over and over again. So unfortunately, Jesus died almost immediately.
Damn, bro. I thought it was a prison. My bad, Jesus, bro. But you still knew not to do that shit. Come on now. A ball? You could buy another ball.
On the afternoon of April 22nd, 2023,
find another goddamn basketball court to play at. If y'all feel like the field, you know what I'm saying, your ball gonna go over the fence, find another basketball court. That's easy. Come on, man. Y'all be making a little shit out of big shit. But I think that's the purpose of these stories too.
9-year-old
that nigga like a white version of Michael B. Jordan.
Crawled through a cave system in Cumbria, England. He was on his hands and knees, shuffling his way forward, and the only light that guided him through this tight, small tunnel was the headlamp on his head. So Carl was an adventurer. He loved things like rock climbing and exploring caves, but this particular cave he wasn't that familiar with. He'd only been here a couple other times, and he didn't have a map, so really he didn't actually know where he was going. But Carl wasn't remotely worried, because he knew this was easily the safest cave system he had ever explored. In fact, this place was so safe that often people showed up with their kids, let them run around freely with no fear they were going to get hurt. And so Carl has no worries here. And also he's thinking to himself, he's not very far into this particular tunnel. He can actually still hear the other people and their kids kind of right behind him. And so again, even though he doesn't really know where he is, he feels completely fine. And so Carl continued crawling through this tunnel, and eventually he reached this T intersection. He just had to choose between going right and left. And again, he's got no map. He doesn't really know where he's going. So he decides, okay, I'll just go right. And so he begins going down this tunnel, which closely resembled the tunnel he had just came from. But as he was crawling along, he started to feel like the walls around him were kind of shrinking. It was getting harder and harder to push his body through this tunnel. And then finally, when it felt like it was so tight around him and it was getting so claustrophobic that maybe he should just turn around, he reached a dead end. That's all this was. The right turn was just a dead end.
Okay.
And so he thought, okay, I'll just turn around and go back the way I came and, maybe explore the left side. So in order to do that, Carl decided he would make a U-turn with his body. He would literally just turn around and go back the way he came, leading with his head and his upper body. And so he's facing the dead end. He's on his hands and knees. And he begins doing this U-turn. And he kind of turns and gets his head and his shoulders and his upper half kind of folded around until they're looking back in the direction he was coming. But he was too physically big to get his lower half to complete the U-turn. And so he was effectively wedged in this position. He couldn't do anything. He was just stuck. But Carl didn't panic.
If you a nigga like my size, like, you know what I'm saying, I'm 250 something. I'm 250, you know what I'm saying? 240 to 250, built muscle, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? All American muscle made. you gotta be one of my poor G families to understand, you know what I'm saying, that American muscle made shit. But anyway, bro, I've been seeing a lot. Every time we do cave stories and shit, it always be a dude that's over 200 pounds. Y'all gotta start being less than 200 pounds so y'all can start doing like maneuver y'all way. Cause I forgot who the fuck was it. Oh, my boy I reacted to. Was it him? The dude with the dirty house. He was a dude with, no, I forgot his name, bro. But he went in the cave. And homeboy like they got stuck. It was one of these YouTubers I be watching, and they went in the cave somewhere, and one of their friends like they got stuck. I think it was dude ass, the one who I react to. Not the dude with the dirty house, but his channel. You know what I'm saying? The dude channel. You feel me? That who posted the shit. Um, yeah, man. If you over 200 pounds, y'all don't need to be in no motherfucking cave. Cause I ain't. I'm just saying that's just me though. Y'all might be
Because
different.
he knows this is a safe place. This is not a big deal. Nobody gets hurt in these cave systems.
I know I ain't.
And I just need to rethink how I go back the way I came. Clearly, this U-turn attempt is not working. And so he decides, okay, let's reset. I'll pull my shoulders and my upper body back, and I'll reset facing the dead end. I'll basically go back to exactly the position I was just in. Except when he tried pulling his upper body and his head and his shoulders back to where he was facing the dead end, he realized he was also stuck going in that direction. He couldn't go back to the way he was, and he couldn't return in the direction he had come. He was stuck in this U shape and couldn't go anywhere. Now, again, Carl is telling himself that it's going to be okay. This is a safe place. Kids play here. Like, this is no big deal. I'm going to be okay. And so he tried, to kind of.
I want to fuck with that either. Anyway, kids, my kids going to here? Hell no, man. Y'all, what the fuck wrong with people? We go ahead and that here. Well, shit, oh y'all tripping. Rapper come on at 7. Oh, I'm bullshitting. My bad. I've got money in the bank. Come on.
Shitting himself one way or another, but it was like no matter
What the
he
fuck?
did,
I'm
he just
gonna get
could
done with
not
this video.
move out of this U shape. And as that
Yeah, I couldn't
happened,
do.
he began to panic. His heart rate began to rise. It became harder to breathe. It felt like the walls of this cave were kind of pushing down on him. And before long, he was becoming overwhelmingly claustrophobic. It just felt like the walls of this tunnel were crushing him, and he really began to panic. And he just started screaming out for help. Immediately, some of the staff who heard Carl yelling out made their way into this tunnel system and actually saw Carl. They could see him in this U shape, totally wedged. And at first they couldn't understand what was even happening here. But when they tried to pull him out, they couldn't get him to move. I mean, he really was totally stuck here. And so sensing that this was a true emergency, the staff backed out and they called the fire department. The fire department, they came out and they too could not get Carl out. He was stuck.
Oh
And so
hell no.
quickly,
See
Carl
what I mean?
realized all he could do here was just do his best to stay calm because this position he was in was really restricting his breathing. Not to mention, the tunnel itself is pressing down on him. And so he just tried to stay calm and kind of have measured breaths. And he kept thinking, the rescue team, they're right there. They're going to get me out of here quickly. I know it. But much to Carl's shock and to the shock of all the first responders, they didn't get Carl out quickly. Instead, it would take an agonizing 4 hours to finally free him. And during those 4 hours, Carl got weaker and weaker and weaker and more panicked. The instant Carl was out of the tunnel, he was rushed to the nearest hospital and admitted to the intensive care unit. There, they would discover he had suffered all these extensive crush injuries from being in that position for so long. He had severe bone damage, organ damage, and nerve damage. I mean, he was in horrible shape.
Damn.
Despite heroic efforts by medical staff to try to save Carl, ultimately he would die 8 days later from those injuries. And his death would become massive news because it really seemed impossible that somebody could die in that cave system because it was meant to be so safe. This cave system was not like an underground cave system or spelunker stone. No, this was a cave system for kids. It was a kids' play place. All the tunnels in the cave itself was made out of plastic, again, so kids could crawl and explore. But adults were told they too could go through those tunnels with their kids.
I was just gonna run my mom and say, bro, if you know only kids go in there and you went in there, then you fucking crazy. But it's for both. You know what I'm saying? And that should fall back on the people that own it. Cause you should tell people it should be a weight limit. It should definitely be a weight limit. A 300-pound motherfucker can't go in no motherfucking cave. I know I can't go in no cave. And I'm 245. I'm 50. 250. You know, 250. That's
And
crazy.
so Carl had gone to a birthday party for one of his kids' friends. He had brought his kids along, and being the devoted father that he was, he went right in there with his kids and was crawling all around and goofing around with the kids until, unfortunately, he got stuck.
That's OD, bro.
In case you haven't heard yet, our newest graphic.
Yeah. Go check that out. Original video will be down in. I ain't. Hold on. Original video will be in the description down below. I ain't even editing that out. Y'all will get this shit how it is, right? Not gonna lie to y'all. Also with my second channel, or it's gonna pop up probably in a minute, or already on here on the screen. You know what I'm saying? I got a new intro and a new outro. I gotta figure out the background situation. You know what I'm saying? That's the other thing. You feel me? Make sure I give y'all a thumbs up, like, subscribe. Make sure y'all give me y'all full opinion about this video. Finna go ahead and do a Mr. Nightmare video. Fuck, I underspoiled it already. Fuck it. Um, I think that's who video I'm finna do next. I ain't did a Mr. Nightmare video in a minute. Y'all know we love Mr. Nightmare. See you when I see y'all. Love y'all. That's right. I'm gonna try to have this out before wrestling come on. Come on. So that's right, nigga. Or doing wrestling. Y'all be safe, nigga. Let's ride.